If you would turn to the Gospel of John, we're going to be in chapter 11 this morning. This is one of the most amazing stories of Christ's earthly ministry. Every time I read it, I'm just absolutely astonished for a couple different reasons, and we'll look at those in just a moment. I'm astonished by one, the power of Christ, but then also towards the end, as Pastor Ishmael was just sharing a moment ago, that unless hearts are truly changed by the resurrection power of the Holy Spirit, they're going to deny Christ even in the face of one of the greatest miracles that ever happened on earth, a human being being risen from the dead. And yet the Pharisees and many of the religious leaders were like, nah, we got to kill this guy. That is a hard heart. I remember in the 80s, dating myself here, there was a song called I Am the Resurrection, and it was by a band called the Stone Roses. They were out of the Manchester scene, and it was a pretty hip, cool scene in the late 80s, early 90s in England. And the song was very catchy, but at that time I didn't have the internet, so I couldn't look at the lyrics. They were a little obscured by the music. But there, you could clearly hear when it hits the chorus, this, I am the resurrection and the life. And as a kid, as a Christian, I was always like, oh, is this guy saying something deeper here? U2 was a favorite band of mine, and they had a lot of Christian references. And I couldn't ever figure out what these guys were singing. Well, when I was preparing to preach a sermon a few months ago at my own church, I looked them up, and I'm like, oh, man, that guy was just a blasphemer. This song was about a relationship, and I think what he means, and when he sings I'm the resurrection, he's saying, you know, I can't ever get you out of my mind. You keep coming back into my mind. It's something blasphemous like that. And the reason I bring it up, though, is there's one